Losses from severe drought in Argentina could exceed $10 billion, warns report. Recent rainfall across Argentina, the world's leading soybean meal exporter and key corn supplier, has been the scarcest in over 3 decades, keeping the pressure on struggling crops. Argentina's soybeans and corn are still in the earlier stages of their seasons, behind normal development as the La Nina-induced drought slowed planting. This delay could turn favorable if the dry pattern permanently broke, but dryness is forecast to persist for at least the next 2 weeks. Bill Gates invests in cow gas climate startup. Scientists have run trials that show red seaweed reduces emissions from cattle, a major source of greenhouse gas emissions. Gates led a $12 million funding round into Rumen Aid, which produces dietary supplements that reduce the emissions from livestock. He has frequently spoken out about meat production's impact on the climate crisis. Animal farming accounts for an estimated 14.5% of all human-derived greenhouse gas emissions. The cash will be used to accelerate Rumen Aid's road to commercialization. Giant iceberg the size of Greater London breaks free from Antarctica. An iceberg of nearly 600 square miles has been calved from an Antarctic ice shelf but is not linked to the climate crisis. While the new iceberg is not down to the impacts of global heating, the climate crisis is having increasingly dire but complex consequences at the world's poles, particularly in Antarctica. Research published earlier this month also revealed that 2/3 of the world's 215,000 glaciers, not including those on ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica, will have melted by the end of the century on the current trajectory of the climate crisis, faster than scientists previously believed. Clean energy investment hit $1.1 trillion in 2022. The money spent on the energy transition equaling for the first time investment in supply of fossil fuels. Despite supply chain bottlenecks and rising inflation and interest rates and macroeconomic headwinds, investments in the energy transition globally jumped by 31% last year. Earlier this month, the International Energy Agency said that as the world enters a new industrial age, total investments in clean energy technologies and infrastructure have to top $4.5 trillion in 2030 under the net zero emissions by 2050 scenario. Fossil fuel lobby waged $4 million disinformation campaign during climate summit, report finds. Investing in Meta for paid advertisements to spread false, misleading claims on the climate crisis, net zero targets and the necessity of fossil fuels prior to and during COP27. The report says there was a surprising increase in content related to outright climate denial, including a spike on Twitter for the hashtag #ClimateScam since July 2022. These adverts exploited issues like the cost of living to justify the use of fossil fuels, which remain the dominant cause of planet-warming greenhouse gases.